What's that tattoo on your neck?
That's a strawberry.
Huh.
It's a strawberry, yeah.
But yeah, what were you saying?
Just that there's a a pattern of things improving, as you can see, with the increase
overall
in rights for people.
Definitely,
and all of these different things.
Which
There's
is
so many.
Just like the uncertainty of this end. It's just something that people
It's easier for me to
can't
look at.
reconcile in their head,
Preoccupation.
even if they know rationally, like, oh, maybe it's not that bad.
Yeah,
So that's
very
something that I think a lot of
obsessed with
people
a lot
like
of-
myself
Yeah, a lot of
deal
people
with.
are obsessed
Also,
with
just
death
things like
these
even
days.
past like my own death, like
Yeah,
dying.
I think
They
it's-
make it fashionable.
Yeah,
They do.
I think it's also partly just because there's so much going on that it feels like there's not.
There is, and there's just kind of this cynical underpining.
Yeah. Well, there's
Right.
like this sort of lack of feeling like there's a future, I think.
Whereas it doesn't take much effort to look at how history repeats itself and how there obviously is a future, right?
Yeah.
You have cycles. Oops.
Yeah, no worries.
You have cycles of going backwards, and then you have progress again, right? It's a few steps back, one step back.
Yeah, it really.
That's how it. Just you see in history.
Yeah.
You see that often.
It sometimes is even.
It's difficult to remember that
more.
because.
It's really, it depends on the people.
Well, you really have to look at the pattern of how things have happened.
What's that tattoo on your neck?
That's
Sorry.
a strawberry.
Huh.
It's a strawberry.
funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were you saying? Sorry to interrupt.
Just that there's a pattern of things improving, as you can see, with the increase
Overall, yeah.
in rights for people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of these
Globally.
different things.
Which
There's
is really
so
good.
many examples of that. Well, I want to say in America there is. Okay. In some countries they have a little bit more difficult situations that they're going through right now.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to
Yeah.
really go and look and say as a world overall everyone's doing great,
We
because
can only
they're
speak
not.
for ourselves, really.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, there's a lot of but like I agree. Overall, things are getting a lot better. It's the
Yeah,
the
and
main-
at least the there's a lot of accessibility to information for people to even be able to look at progress happening in other countries and at least have hope personally for themselves, even if their entire community doesn't have that.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Because I'll tell you just some examples. I've made friends with people in Middle Eastern countries who are suffering a lot, and people
Yeah.
who are LGBT in those countries.
God.
And even though they have a very difficult life there, they are very hopeful that they will perhaps someday reach that place, and they're inspired by America's.
so
they're
glad to hear
yeah,
that.
they're inspired by America's
Relative
pushing
progress.
relative progress as in terms of acceptance of sexuality, which is a very different situation in the Middle
Yeah.
East. So.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know.
outside of Florida and maybe Texas, we're doing really well as far as that goes. I mean, it's gay marriage.
I mean, it's
is legal.
relative. It's relative.
Yeah, it's all
If you-
relative.
If you take the
and
prog-
Florida is stepping back. That's
well,
the problem.
but if you look at overall in America compared to say the Middle East, there are steps in the right direction for acceptance of LGBT people.
Yeah.
Of acceptance of diversity between people of color. You see a lot of different steps for progress that other countries don't always see and wish that they would have. Right. So I have a friend who is in Egypt who
Oh, wow.
he they oblige them to join the military. And do you know what they tell?
they have obligate
They-
military
yeah,
service.
yeah. So, do you know what they told him? They told him that they do rectal exams and that they can tell if they have had anal sex before, right? They tell the...
That's got to be
they-
a lie. I'm sure there's some
How
ways
could-
if you
no,
if
you
it was
couldn't.
no
You
yeah
couldn't.
there's
You
no
couldn't.
way. Yeah,
There's
that's
no
what
way.
I thought.
No way.
That-
Maybe
that's-
if you were getting pounded every single day.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
but,
like
but
outside
they're
of that,
doing
no.
it for fear mongering.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
make
It's
those
just
guys
lies.
so that
Yeah.
when they touch their butts, they'll be and freak out, and then they'll be
Yeah.
able to tell based on their behavior because they've created that fear in them. So
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
thank
That's-
goodness that doesn't happen in the American military.
Yeah, knock on wood. That's very good. Yeah, no, I there's a lot of progress being made. It is I feel definitely for the younger folks though, who are possibly even younger than the people in this video, although I'm not sure how old they are, but I've heard a lot of people being like it feels, I mean, especially because you're a kid and you're in high school, and like so you have a lot of hormones and stuff anyway, and obviously when you're in high school it feels like this is like the only thing that matters. It's all you've ever experienced, so it feels like
Yeah, you've got kind
you
of
don't have-
purblind vision.
yeah, exactly. You
yeah.
don't have that experience to know what life is like outside of that, so that's all you know. And it so I can understand. I mean, with all the global warming and like climate change and stuff that's going on, I can very easily say yeah.